Ambassadors, friends, good morning. It's great to be with you today. I'd like to thank Efgun and his Caspian Policy Center team for organizing this event and for all you do to draw attention to this region. Like all of us, they're interested in working hard to help the region achieve its full potential. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about what the US government is doing to that end, specifically in Central Asia. As Das Lochman and Senior Director Berliner just explained, our US government Trans-Caspian policy is a key element of our engagement with Central Asia. However, it's only one part of our multifaceted policy toward the Central Asia region. And while I understand we're here today to talk about the Caspian region, I'd like to drill down a little bit and to speak about our broader policy towards Central Asia and highlight some of the extraordinary change taking place in our current relations. This past year has seen more high-level US engagement with Central Asian leaders than at any time in the over 30 years of these countries' independence. Since just last fall, Secretary Blinken has had 2 in-person ministerials with all of his Central Asian counterparts, all of them together, and over a dozen bilateral meetings with Central Asian presidents and foreign ministers. These were substantive, frank conversations in which they discussed many aspects of our cooperation, from our increasing security ties to our substantial investment in the region's professionals and young people. We're working together to strengthen these countries' resilience, political independence, and economic ties with each other and with the global economy. One of the most dynamic areas of change is the C5+1, our diplomatic platform for engaging with the 5 countries of Central Asia, the C5. Some have claimed in the past that this is more of a symbolic grouping rather than a format for substantive work, but that is absolutely not the case today. Last year, we established the C5+1 Secretariat to coordinate our exponentially growing regional portfolio and respond in real time to the needs of our partners. The C5+1 Secretariat convenes monthly with designated senior-level representatives working in the foreign ministry of each capital. Here in Washington, we have regular, almost daily coordination that sets the stage for these important meetings, where delegations from each country advance shared priorities in 3 pillars of cooperation: energy and environment, economic, and security. We hold at least 1 in-person working group in each pillar per year, where we focus on shared priorities, identify problems to be addressed, and work together towards solutions. As an example of what this looks like, just to give some concrete examples, next week we're hosting a C5+1 security working group in the Loy Henderson Auditorium at the State Department, the department's largest and most iconic conference space. We needed this room to accommodate the many agencies and delegations participating in the discussion, which will cover cyber, border security, and countering violent extremism, all areas where Central Asians are eager to engage with us. This isn't just a talk shop. This year alone, the United States is devoting over $100 million in assistance and engaging in over 40 programs in the C5+1 format. That's all in the C5+1 format. These programs are in addition to the already substantive bilateral development programs that we're running with each Central Asian country. To give you a sense of the scope of our C5+1 partnership, let me talk about what we're doing just this week in just one pillar, the security pillar. Activity number 1. The State Department's Counterterrorism Bureau is providing tactical medicine training through the C5+1 Border Security Program. Border guards and law enforcement officers from all 5 countries are participating and learning new skills that will help them keep Central Asian borders secure and their personnel safe. Activity number 2, the FBI is launching the International Executive Program for Central Asia in Almaty. This is a premier leadership program in which law enforcement officers from across the region, again, will form a cohort that will meet 6 times in each country over the next 18 months to address global and regional threats. Activity number 3, Also this week in Almaty, the United States Institute of Peace is convening its Track 1.5 Regional Consultative Working Group, which regularly brings together key government institutions, civil society representative, experts, academics, and religious leaders to develop a more integrated response to regional and global security challenges. Again, these are our C5+1 activities, just in the security pillar, just this week. I hope that gives you a feel for the breadth and depth of all that we're doing in our collaboration with the C5 as a group. In addition, ERICEN, or the Economic Resilience in Central Asia Initiative, complements our C5+1 programs. This is a $45 million initiative recently announced by Secretary Blinken that's aimed at developing regional infrastructure to facilitate trade within and beyond the region, support the region's private sector, and increase training opportunities in English and tech skills. I could go on at length about our over 40 regional initiatives, but there isn't time today. Simply said, the US government is deploying an all-of-government approach to strengthen the C5's economic and political independence and develop the resilience all countries need during these trying times. We're trying to be a reliable partner to a region that's had few such partners in its history. Our efforts to be a reliable partner include our perennial focus on human rights and the importance of political and economic reform. We continue to highlight that security and prosperity for Central Asian countries is inevitably tied in the long term to freedom and opportunity for the people of Central Asia. In recent years, Central Asian governments have shown increased willingness to reform their economic and political systems. This change has been an important factor driving increased US engagement in the region, both in terms of bilateral engagement and via the C5+1. These reforms have helped bring concrete US investment to the region. Just today, Air Products Cooperation announced a $1 billion investment in Uzbekistan. That level of investment would have been unimaginable just a few years ago. The US vision for its relationship with Central Asia is not confined to government interactions. Rather, we believe that a healthy partnership with the region demands multifaceted engagement across government, business, and civil society. We raise issues such as religious freedom, forced labor, and gender-based violence with Central Asian governments because ordinary people in the region raise these issues with us. We recognize that it can be difficult to make progress in these areas, and we engage bilaterally with C5 governments openly, but with patience and understanding. I've found that today's Central Asian leaders, they recognize the need for reform if their governments are to provide the future their citizens are expecting. As Ukraine has demonstrated so convincingly, a strong civil society is vital to a country's resilience and its ability to withstand external pressure. So we will continue to address these issues in all of our engagements with leaders in the region. In conclusion, thank you again for this opportunity to share a small piece of what the US government is doing in Central Asia. We look forward to continuing our work, including our work with many of you to help the region achieve its full potential. Thank you.